I get paid to sit in this chair and talk in this microphone. That's basically it. It sounds like one big elaborate scam, and honestly, sometimes it feels like one too. But honestly, it was a really long, strange path from being a pimply-faced teenager making terrible dubstep music on my old computer to now completing over 250 freelance voiceover projects on the internet. And no, I don't mean the path from my bed to my chair, I mean like a metaphorical path. Hey guys, thanks for stopping in, clicking on my video. My name's CJ Verbiski of Verbiski Audio, a professional voice talent and audio engineer and current computer science student here in Newfoundland. And apparently I've fallen down the slippery slope of becoming a YouTube vlogger. So make sure you hit subscribe for my future fast food drive-through reviews. Nah, just kidding. Now, when I tell people I do voiceover work or voice acting work, I get a mixed bag of reactions. Some people are curious and immediately say, do the voice. Some people, I bet, think it sounds so bizarre that I can only imagine they're thinking, all right, CJ, unemployed, cool. Some people just look at me confused and ask, do people really pay you to talk? The answer is yes. This is my part-time job. It has been for a few years now, and I make money by talking into that there mic, and the video camera is actually new. That's just for this video. Hey guys, whoa! But there is a little bit more than just sitting in a chair, speaking, and waiting for the cash to roll in. When I mention it though, every now and then there's someone who's genuinely interested in learning how voiceover works and maybe exploring if they could do it themselves. I usually just give them a short answer to give them the little basics, followed by a 45-minute long tangent because I have issues with getting sidetracked. There's actually been occasions with these same people where after going on the tangents, I realize we're in public, okay? I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna make a tutorial video for you, and then I'll send it your way. I never made those videos. I've been pretty busy working, going back to university, trying to craft some semblance of a lifestyle for the future instead of a freestyle. I don't know why I put that line in the script. This is my first vlog. Be nice to me. And subscribe. But I thought this video would be a good chance to finally explain how I got into voiceover, what the work's actually like, and a few things I learned along the way. But to explain how I became a voice actor, we gotta back things up a little bit. And I can't believe I'm saying this in a public-facing video because it's kind of cringy looking back, but do you remember the dubstep thing in like the 2010s? Yeah, like the dubstep. I heard that as a young man and I was obsessed. I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever heard. I heard Scary Monsters and Nice Sprites by Skrillex for the first time and I was like, this is the coolest thing ever. The loud, distorted bass. It was so unkempt. It was so... I don't know. Anyways, I was genuinely amazed. I don't care. I don't even care. I'm not ashamed. The sound was loud, weird, abrasive, parent scaring, girl scaring, and I immediately thought, how do I make this? So then I acquired some pro audio software, Ableton Live 8, I think it was on, and some synthesizer program, Native Instruments Massive, because, I don't know, I googled, how does Skrillex do it? And I actually taught myself music production. Now, taught myself music production, that's a little bit strong. For like the first year or two, I made songs completely in this very limited view of Ableton Live because I didn't know any better until somebody told me and were like, why are you doing that? And I was like, I don't know what the other screen does. I don't know. I probably should be reading things. But I didn't read things, and I barely watched tutorials. I dove headfirst into it, for better or worse, because I loved it. The music was actually unlistenable, but I kept going. Over time, my tastes expanded, and I got into like punk and rock, and played in a few bands. I played everything, picked up guitar, picked up the bass. I was never amazing at any of them, but I just liked making music and playing music, and recording music. I loved recording music and making the songs and the composition and arrangement, yada, yada, yada. It was awesome. I still love doing that. I don't make as much music these days, but one day. So after cutting my teeth in the whole real music world, I still chose like punk and the most unlistenable garbage ever, but I don't know what's wrong with me. I just like crazy music. It's fun. Eventually, I enrolled in the sound recording and production program at College of the North Atlantic. After graduating, I worked live sound for around a year and a half. That meant running cables, setting up speakers, mixing live sound for bands at weddings and comedy shows and service events. I did this freelance while I was also working part-time. I'm honestly really grateful for my experience in that role. It taught me how to solve problems quickly and keep things running smoothly if something goes wrong 5 minutes before a show starts. But, and I'm not complaining, I am truly grateful, I found the lifestyle to be a little bit difficult. Being nocturnal by choice might be a little fun when you're younger, but staying up all night, it kind of eats away at your functional daytime routines a little bit. It's silly, but when I was younger, I had this idyllic view of, doing this program, moving. I lived on a little island on the east coast of Canada. I was gonna move to the mainland, move to Toronto, and work in a big studio and make it big, recording these huge albums. That's cool, I'm sure it can happen, but reality was a little more complicated. I still loved audio and music, and I wanted to be as close to it as possible, but I was reconsidering if live sound in particular was gonna be my permanent home as a career. Now, this is not career advice. I want to make that extremely clear. Do not take career advice from this guy. My path has been extremely disjointed, and I've tried a few different things out before landing on what I want my adult life to look like. But the voiceover part of the story actually happened a bit earlier. Do you still get demonetized if you mention code? During the thing that happened that made us all stay inside. I think you know what I'm getting at. Like most people, I suddenly had more time than I knew what to do with. I was in my early 20s. It was a real Lord of the Flies moment with me and all my friends, at a distance, of course. After approximately my third week straight of playing Call of Duty with friends, I started getting bored. I was like, can I do anything meaningful? I'm broke. Can I make money just staying here at home? I was making music, but knowing me, if I tried to convert that into something remote, I'd spend like hours making one synthesizer patch, and then it would work out to a salary of like 5 cents an hour. I was broke. I was bored. I tried planting. Did you try planting too? What was that? I never got the sourdough thing myself, but I was curious. I was like, is there anything that is kind of adjacent to skills I already have? Something I can do to make money online right now? I actually already had this mic, an Audio-Technica AT2050 that I received in a trade for some old speaker, and I don't have it anymore, but my friend gave me this old Scarlett 2i2 audio interface, and shout out, you know who you are, I don't want to name drop. He wasn't using it, so, I had it kicking around for a while. But in this moment, I realized that I put 2 and 2 together and realized, hey, I have a pretty deep voice. I don't have a James Earl Jones level deep voice, but hey, it's workable. Maybe I can do voiceovers. Throughout my life, older folks told me, like, you have a voice for radio. And I was like, thank you, man. I appreciate it. But I didn't take it literally as advice. I had no idea you could actually just sit down and talk and people buy it. That's crazy. This was all until I heard about Fiverr. For the uninitiated, Fiverr is a freelance service platform where it connects talented freelance individuals, freelancers, with people looking for those services. They act as the middleman, the matchmaker, and take a cut from both sides. That's the whole model. It's called Fiverr. It used to just be $5 gigs, but there's people making like a comfortable living just from Fiverr. Again, I would say that's the exception, not the rule, but it's significant. So there is money to be made on this platform. So I dove headfirst. Again, I set up my account. It asked for portfolio samples. I don't have portfolio samples, so I made some mock ones. I came up with some scripts and typed up some fake commercial reads. I think one was for like a coffee shop commercial, and one was for a like a pet toy. That was pretty fun. And I voiced all of them as like a functional proof of concept, like, hey, I didn't actually do these, but I could. Do you like what you hear? The foot in the door technique or whatever. They're already here. If they like what they hear, maybe they'll, I don't know. Long story short, I got my first client. I made $5. I know that's not retirement money by any means, but it was magic to me. I was hooked. I was addicted. That sure beats my customer service job. Holy cow. Now, at first, voiceover was just a curiosity, a little hobby I was picking away at. I'd pick it up and I'd put it down and I'd pick it up. At that time, I was still in college studying audio, and then when the lockdown gave up, I was working retail and trying to figure out what direction I wanted to take after graduating. And after graduating and going through that whole "is live sound right for me" debacle, I was working part-time and doing voiceover, and I thought, maybe I should give this one solid go. Because I've proven that it's not impossible to get orders from this. And eventually I found a niche working with YouTube creators. You know, those faceless YouTube channels, the top 10s, the icebergs, the documentaries, anyways, voiceover, along with a mixed bag of audio editing, restoration, mixing, and mastering, has now become my part-time job while I'm back in school studying computer science at university. It has given me flexibility that was not available working retail or in live sound gigs. But in my struggles and successes, I have learned that it is not just as simple as having a deep voice and a microphone. And that brings me to the first major lesson I learned. Lesson 1, having a deep voice or a voiceover voice isn't just everything. There's a stereotypical idea that to work in radio or advertisement, voiceover, anything where you're monetizing your friggin' voice, you need to have this silky smooth radio. Lock in Trapaholics this September. Come to theaters now. No, you don't. No. That simply isn't true. Sure, yeah, I'm not hating on work that needs that kind of vibe. I do some myself if I'm a good fit. But the point is, clients need all kinds of voices. They need conversational voices, energetic voices, dramatic voices, spooky voices, and most importantly, voices that sound like real people and not radio announcers. Now, a naturally interesting voice does go a long way, but that doesn't necessarily make you good at voice acting. You still need to interpret the script, you still need to understand the intended tone, you need to speak clearly without sounding like you're reading. And then if you're anything like me, you need to edit it down a lot in post because admittedly, I don't always get it on my first take. I never get it on my first take. I like to try different deliveries, but the more deliveries you add, the more you need to cut in post. You need to stitch it up, make it sound human again, make the transitions all nice, and then send it to your client once it's a seamless piece of audio. Sometimes the client wants excitement, sometimes authority, and sometimes they want the delivery to sound completely natural. So the goal isn't always to sound impressive. The goal is to sound appropriate for what your client needs for the project. Lesson 2, you don't need the perfect studio to get started. Now, when I started, I used equipment I already had. Now, granted, the equipment I already had was still pretty good, but you don't need a whole recording studio, and you can cheap out. You can find perfectly usable pieces of gear that are like the one expensive thing, maybe $100 budget. Maybe you can go cheaper. I don't know. 100 Canadian. What's that? Probably like $5 American. You need a microphone that can record usable audio to send to your computer. A computer, doesn't have to be crazy. You need recording software, and the quietest space you can reasonably find in your house. That might be a bedroom, a closet, seriously, a closet surrounded by clothes, or a quiet corner. Just try and make it as undisturbed and quiet and dead sounding as possible. A better microphone can help, but putting a better microphone in a super noisy room is just gonna have a super nice noisy recording that you can't use still. You can check the description section of this video. I'll leave some good microphones there for as cheap as humanly possible. But yeah, I would just advise, don't let not having a good mic be the thing that's stopping you from making your portfolio pieces. I'd say try and work with what you have. You don't need to wait until every detail is perfect, and you'll pick up a lot learning on the way. You just need something functional set up to get you started practicing. Lesson 3, and you might not like this one, but voiceover cannot be removed from customer service, I know, and problem solving. Talking is only one part of the job. Your job is to understand what the client wants, and that might be a pretty tall order if the client doesn't even know how to describe what they want. You need to communicate clearly, organize your files, meet deadlines, troubleshoot technical problems, and constantly deliver audio that meets the same quality standard. Sometimes the script contains a strange sentence. Sometimes a name has 5 different pronunciations, or is in a different language, or has an error that you need to check over with your client. Sometimes your client will want the performance to have more energy, but not too much energy, and the whole thing to sound calm. What? Now that is where good communication and judgment really come in handy. Creative freelancers also tend to wear several different hats. A musician may need to be a recording engineer, social media manager, a graphic designer for their album artwork, and a YouTuber may need to be a video editor and a marketer. As a freelance voice actor, I also have to be an audio engineer, a digital marketer, a customer service rep, and administrator. The talking is usually the fun part. Everything surrounding the talking is what turns it into a business. And I still have plenty to learn. I'm not saying I'm the definitive expert guru of the entire industry here or anything. I'm just trying to help the interested beginner save some time. My experience is one very specific path through it. But I do think the main lesson applies to a lot of creative careers. You do not become completely prepared and then begin. You begin with whatever knowledge and equipment you currently have. You make mistakes. You improve one problem at a time. You finish projects. And eventually, the thing you started as a little experimental project turns into something that you actually know how to do. My first voiceover made me $5. Now I pay my bills every month with a mixture of things, but voiceover's a huge part of it. The chair I'm sitting in right now might be a little comfier. My mic selection might be a little cooler. And thankfully, I don't charge $5 anymore. If you're interested in delving headfirst into the audio world like I was, make sure to give this channel a subscribe. And with that, I'm CJ Verbiski, and that is how I accidentally built Verbiski Audio. One sentence at a time. And now that I've officially made a vlog, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead. Thanks for watching.